Hello, it's me, Domonique Foxworth, joining you live from my basement. And this is the only NFL show that's undefeated, never lost, even from my basement. Today, we discuss black coaches in NFL, rules to protect the big stars, quarterbacks, and the best fit for Deshaun Watson. Warning, this week I'm going for the win on fourth down like Andy Reid, cause I don't give a damn. All right, in the NFL, we've had several new coaches hired. As a defensive guy, I love to see defensive coordinators like Staley and Saleh getting a shot, but as a black man, well, I think we'll talk about that later. On the field, the championship round is set. The youth of the AFC side against the old dudes in the NFC. Here to break it down with me is ESPN NFL reporter Kimberley A. Martin. What it do, Kimberly?
How are you, hon?
I'm great. How are you, Brooklyn?
Oh, you know what it's done. Okay, cool. Okay, now go ahead.
Are you covering any of the games this weekend?
Am I covering any of the games? I will be freezing my butt off at Lambeau this weekend to see the old heads. There's something about the 40-year-olds and close to 40-year-olds that I dig it. I dig it.
Our first discussion topic, let's get it from Travis in the control room. What you got, Trav?
Despite being overqualified for a full-time head coaching gig, it appears as though Eric Bieniemy is being passed over yet again. Why is this a bad look for the NFL?
I mean there's so much in that. All right, Kimberly, I'll let you start.
How much time do you have here? Okay, it's a bad look only because you know how we always talk about the goalpost shifting? Yeah. Okay, well this year the goalposts, they have been erected and they're off the field completely. Like you cannot score at all. Right. It's remarkable that with Bieniemy, how much of the game plan is he really calling? Like, is he really calling any of these plays? It's Andy Reid. But you get a tight ends coach to be a head coach, or you get Brandon Staley, who, if you talk to anybody in the league, this is a rising star. He was identified as that before the season. Right. Somebody told me, early in the season, watch out for the Rams defense. They're legit. But really, when you go down the list as far as resumes and what people have done, you can make a case for Zach Taylor getting a job after not being a coordinator. But Eric Bieniemy, who arguably has one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL vouching for him, Andy Reid, one of the greatest coaches to vouch for him, and he still can't get work, that to me is problematic.
I think it's important to understand that it's not just about the representation in executive positions or in head coaches. It's about that representation compared to the representation on the field. It's a real bad look when the vast majority of the labor is black and then the vast majority of the ownership and management is not. It doesn't look good given the history of this country, and it doesn't look good considering where this league wants to go in the future. And all right, Big Trav, unless you got the answer for us, how about you give us a question?
Two of the game's brightest young black superstar QBs were knocked out of playoff games and put into concussion protocol. Has the league shown growth in holding out quarterbacks who suffered apparent concussions?
Growth. Well, I mean, I think we all have kind of seen that concussions are a lot scarier and unpredictable how they'll impact you going forward. And we all understand that. And the league put in some protocols and some independent decision makers. There is a time not too long ago, maybe 5 or 10 years ago, where obviously Patrick Mahomes, once he regained his bearings, would have been back in the game. The same is true for Lamar Jackson. So I don't know if I'd call it growth, but it does seem a little better for these players that they've found a way to try to keep them a little bit safer, because once you suffer a concussion, those immediate moments after, as we understand it, can be a lot more dangerous. Kimberly, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the rules right now, I don't know what else you could do from a league perspective. Right. I mean, the rules are shifted so that quarterbacks are protected more than anybody. I think in both those games, I was at Cleveland, Kansas City. To me, there was nothing egregious about the hit. And I know that Patrick Mahomes' mom was even tweeting at one of the Browns defensive players, and he was like, "Ma'am, I'm not a dirty player. Like, I want to be great too. I'm just trying to make plays like your son." I think it's scary when you see any player get up a little woozy, but when you see the future faces, I shouldn't say future faces, the current young faces of the game in the same weekend, it gives you pause, like, whoa, we cannot have anything happen to these guys. But like you said, the fact that they go straight to the medical tent, they've got to be cleared by medical experts. I think that was the first and right step the league took to make sure that it's not the team saying, oh yeah, like here's some smelling salt, like you're good, like go back out there. The next step I want to see is when guys get injured and they go to the back. These shots that they're like, we don't even know, like just go, you get a shot and you just go back out there. To me, that's also something that we don't talk about. And that is also very scary.
All right, Trav, what you got next?
It seems inevitable that Deshaun Watson will be leaving H-Town. Where is the best destination for Watson to return to stardom?
Whew. All right, Kimberly. I can't handle this question. I'll put it on your lap.
It's too much. This topic is too hot. I can't handle it because all the Texans have to do this offseason is do what's in the best interest of Deshaun Watson. And what have they done? Quite the opposite. So, no, I don't think he'll play there again. But where to go? I mean
Miami is a front runner because they seem to be one of the few teams that have a great deal of capital, meaning draft picks that they can trade. And they also have a young, promising quarterback that people will be interested in building around. I'd love that selfishly because, and we got a black coach, a black quarterback, and we got a black general manager. I think I'm for sure. My uncle, immediately Dolphins fan right away. I might have to think about it. I might want to remain impartial, but I know that all the older men in my family, they getting that Dolphins apparel immediately.
But you know who has more draft capital and more money? The Jets. And here's why I say I'm torn. Because I understand, I think the Jets, Joe Douglas, and new head coach Robert Saleh, do everything in your power to try to convince Deshaun Watson to come to New York, right? You just got to, because right now you don't have a quarterback, because you don't know if you can develop. You haven't developed Sam Darnold to this point, and you don't know if he's going to get better with a defensive-minded head coach. Right. For Deshaun Watson's sake, is New York, is this team, this roster, where he should be? Because if I'm him, I don't want you to waste I don't have any years to waste while you guys figure out like pieces. The Jets need too much. Overall.
The issue with the Jets, as you pointed it out, is they have too many other holes, and they'll be trading away the draft capital that they would use to fill those holes.
Exactly.
And for the Bears, I feel like that might be a better situation, but that situation is going to get bad soon. That defense has been very good in recent years, but it's getting old, and they're not going to be able to build around him going forward. You send him there immediately, the offense gets better. They might be championship contenders next season and the season after. But after that, I don't know what happens. So I think Miami is the best spot if they want to build for some sort of long-term future. And I'll throw another thing on the table to complicate things even further is Jacksonville trades away that #1 overall pick, Trevor Lawrence, to get a sure thing, a guy who's already MVP caliber and not a guy who maybe will grow into that. And they bring Deshaun Watson down to Jacksonville. I don't know that they deserve him down there, but frankly, I'm not sure that any team deserves him. Yeah.
Does anybody deserve Deshaun Watson? Yeah. No, that's a good point about the Jags, especially Urban Meyer saying, he admitted, why now? Why Jacksonville? And he was like, absolutely, that #1 pick is huge.
Every week we challenge our guests to put their Twitter avatar on the line. In a game we call Bet Your Abby, the loser of the bet has to make their Twitter profile pick whatever the winner wants for 24 hours. I believe you were a victim at one point, and you ended up with Daniel LaRusso as your avatar. So, Big Trav, what's the bet this week?
Legacy is on the line as Aaron Rodgers looks to level up his GOAT status by going toe-to-toe with Tom Brady. Who you got? Tampa Bay and the Bucks, or the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field and the Packers?
This is tough because I'm covering the game, but I will never doubt Aaron Rodgers for the rest of this season. I think this man he's on a mission. He's going to prove he's the guy, and he can do it, whether you want to say he has enough weapons or not. I think the Packers are loaded, and they're playing at home. That's a different feeling going to Lambeau, as I'm about to experience on Sunday. So Packers, I'm going Packers.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. If I had my choice, I think I'd go with the Packers too, but I don't have a choice. That stinks. Thank you so much. We're always so happy to have you on the show. We appreciate you, and stay warm.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Wash your hands, wear your mask, stay home, be safe. You're welcome.